This is Joth Recap Session 54 Around the Pond. When Session 53 ended, Candle the Thief was searching the Goblin King's throne room, specifically the throne, discovered that there were a bunch of lovely looking gems embedded in the throne itself, and she proceeded to pry stones loose from the throne. With the first stone that she retrieved, a stone golem appeared suddenly in the middle of the throne room / temple. And that's where we ended session 53. As we start with session 54, at the stone golem's appearance, half of the party fled, disappeared, they're gone, which left us with Candle the Thief, Deanna the Cleric, and Lauren the Fighter. The stone golem appeared, and Lauren immediately made a move towards one of the windows to escape, but thought better of it and decided to make noise in order to distract the golem from Candle and Deanna and have it move towards him. So this plan seemed to work, and they basically were able to escape the throne room and met up again outside the abandoned temple. Once they were safely outside of the temple, the party debated briefly whether or not they should go back inside to collect goblin ears for bounty, but ultimately decided against it. Their next stop was to return to Stony Lonesome, and this was to skirt the west shore of the lake and head north. And as they were kind of figuring out what they were going to do next, they were interrupted by the Scrag, a lake troll that has been terrorizing the locals. They decided to flee south to avoid this encounter, and instead of going to Stony Lonesome, they decided that they better just head to the closest town, which would be Blackfish Bay. Once arriving at Blackfish Bay and seeing all the damage that had been done by the tsunami and floodwaters, Deanna suggested that they try to find a horse for sale to make the rest of their trip that much quicker and easier. In the meanwhile, they encountered the herbalist Ingra, who was heavy with child, frantically searching through the ruins of the blacksmith's shop. The party decided to help Ingra search for Arn, her husband, and even after a little bit of hesitation, Candle jumped in to help as well, and Candle actually found a shield. Arn's body was recovered. Ingra was very grateful and began preparing her husband's body for burial. At least that's what we thought was going to happen. I think in the meantime, we ended up going to the local inn and talking to Ignatius, who was the innkeeper there, and trying to get some information out of him. The party headed back to Ingra's and discovered that, and actually it was Deanna who spied it, but we realized that Ingra was preparing Arn's body for a resurrection spell. Deanna talked her out of it, luckily, and we helped her to bury the body. So hopefully that loose end is tied up, hopefully. Ingra rewarded the party with 3 healing poultices, and the next day they took the eastern road, traveling north past the Good Night's Rest ruins, where so many encounters ago we had a run-in with some undead there, so my character was not in any mood to stay there at all, which we didn't. The party made their way to the hills just east of Stony Lonesome, where they were headed, and there they encountered a group of mercenaries trying to repair a broken wagon. My character, Lauren, was really suspicious of these guys. He didn't know if they were mercenaries or bandits down in there. He wasn't sure what was going on with these guys, and they were very well armed. And once again, it turned out that they were known by Deanna. These guys were, I think, part of the Jade Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. Deanna was able to befriend them, and we were welcomed to their fire. So we didn't say anything about our quest for Jacotus, the wizard who lives in Stony Lonesome. And these men at arms were in the service of a holy woman who Lauren didn't recognize, but he figured that they had the look of seekers about them. So he kind of kept his mouth shut. So, bolstered by these mercenaries, the party made its way to Stony Lonesome safely, and they relinquished the belt or the rope of unburdening, which was their quest. And Jacotus shows us workings to the party, which we couldn't really figure out. And he ended up rewarding the group. And that's kind of where we ended. We have to kind of figure out, I guess the assumption is going to be that the rest of the group that fled earlier was going to probably be back at, I would guess would be back at Blackfish Bay, I'm assuming, where we'll meet up with them. And then I believe my character had an initial quest before this one was started to help a friend of theirs to the east, and I think that's where we're gonna go next. So yeah, that was the adventure. I believe my character reached 4th level, so he's a 4th level fighter in OSC that we're using. And I don't know if the thief or the cleric leveled up or not. Not sure. So yeah, so that's about it. So thanks for listening and good gaming.